What's up? What's up? What's up? Something that I'm gotta talk about because there is all kinds of videos, and I'm gonna put my two. I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna put this out there on about this matter. Something that I have that I'm going to say on this. Because I see a lot of drivers retaliate when it was uncalled for. Since it was recorded, since it's recorded and out on the internet, many cases these guys who retaliated got fired. In many cases, but something that I want to point out, what I see wrong among a lot of truck drivers. When it comes to courtesy, now something to think about on this, that I'm going to implement on this. The law don't give a shit on what's courteous or morally correct. Like, for example, to retaliate against a reefer driver. I mean, I drive a reefer. I know the versions of what it's like pulling that loud shit that kicks on and off all night. The courteous thing to do as a reefer driver is to seclude yourself when you park for your 10-hour break. Seclude yourself. Or park among other reefers. Now, legally, any parking spot intended for a semi is fair game to a reefer. Another thing, like turtle racing bullshit, because I can't stand being trapped behind that. Can't stand being trapped behind two guys that are doing 65 miles an hour side by side for 45 minutes. Doesn't happen often, but I do come across it sometimes. But now, what I'm wanting to point out, the courteous thing for the guy in the right-hand lane, if he sees someone struggling to pass him, the courteous thing would be for him to back out of it and help the other driver, get ahead of him. That's the courteous thing. Legally, the person in the right lane don't have to do shit to help you get ahead of him. And legally, for that matter, on the legal side of it, you're in the left lane, you are legally wrong, because you're impeding the flow of traffic by turtle racing in the left lane. Merging onto the interstate from the on-ramp, the courteous thing would be for whoever's in the right-hand lane, if the left lane is clear, the courteous thing would be for the person in the right lane to merge to the left lane to help the person in the on-ramp lane onto the interstate. That's the courteous thing. Legally, whoever's in the on-ramp lane has to yield to whoever's in the right lane. So, I see a lot of people retaliate over issues of the courtesy stuff. But I'm gonna go ahead and say, when you're in court because of an accident that you're involved in, when you're in court, the judge, the lawyers, everybody, or a jury if there's a jury in that, nobody in court is going to give a shit who has the moral high ground, who was courteous, or what would have been the courteous thing to do. The only thing that matters when you go to court is who has the legal high ground. Not the moral high ground, the legal high ground. Because if you're trying to merge onto the interstate and whoever's in the right lane ain't moving, and you sideswipe them just because they didn't move over, when you go to court, you're going to lose that case. Or the instance for the video I seen of the guy using his door to attempt to block a reefer driver from parking next to him. Yeah, the courteous thing would have been if it was the right time of day. Now, if that's the only open parking spot, then yeah. But yeah, if the parking is wide open and there's other places he could have parked, the courteous thing would have been for him to park among other reefers or to seclude himself. But I don't know the circumstances on that driver's decision to park there. But that driver might have been right as far as it goes for concerns of courtesy. He is right on concerns to courtesy, but he was wrong and retaliated over an issue, over a courtesy issue, not a legal issue. Because he retaliated, then legally he was wrong. Because, I mean, on that video, that's his company's truck. You see the whole truck with the company name. That company fired him because he retaliated over a courtesy issue. So, which actually, another thing too, even if it is a legal issue, still, you shouldn't retaliate. Anyways of it. The best thing to do would be to deal with it legally, but if it's a legal issue, I do feel bad for this driver though. He was fired. My opinion, to fire him is extreme, but I think the more correct thing would have been for the staff at that truck stop to get his information and ban him from that location. Maybe the company to put him into a, I don't know what different companies call them, but we call it retraining. But now, as far as it goes for the company owner, on the other hand, though, that's that name all over the internet, and I don't blame. You kind of have to expect when a video like that goes viral. You kind of have to expect that coming to get fired. And I don't blame that company. Which the man he came on the online and apologized to that driver he done that to through the video chat. He apologized, which is his place to do so, not the company. But something else I'm wanting to point out too, because of what this guy was dealing with at that time, he said that he was dealing with the loss of his wife. I'm going to go ahead and put this out there, because I've dealt with that. When I was driving for Stevens, I lost my daughter and my wife, and I'm trying to suppress my feelings about this, but I do miss my wife. I do miss her, and my daughter. She was prematurely born. She was so tiny, but I miss my wife and never did get to experience really having a daughter. But I'm gonna go ahead and tell you the truth. I'm trying to suppress everything, at least until I stop recording on this. But anyways, I went back out on the road, and I shouldn't have went back on the road when I did. And I'm gonna go ahead and tell everybody this: when you're dealing with a loss in your family, when you have hard times that are that dramatic, take however much time you need, because I'm going to tell you from my own personal experience, I shouldn't have went on the road when I did, because I'm going to go ahead and tell you this: a grieving driver is an angry driver, an irrational driver, and a dangerous driver. So when you're dealing with something that extreme, keep your ass home. Because from my own personal experience, and I dealt with this, because at that time, that first week out on the road, I cannot tell you how many times I had near misses. Because of how pissed off at the world I was. I mean, I was mad at the world and didn't give a shit. So, someone who is grieving, who's dealing with a loss in their family, they don't need to be operating any motor vehicle for that matter, but especially a commercial vehicle. Because it's hard to deal with, and it's even harder to deal with it when you have to when you're adding in a 14-hour workday, or 11 to 14 hours. So take however much time you need. And also another thing too to think about, if you're ever so choose to retaliate against someone else on the roads, think about, regardless of how much you feel like you have the moral high ground, think about who has the legal high ground. So that's all I'm going to say on that. So until next time, be safe out there and don't drink the fish tank cleaner. Thanks.